More than half of babies in low-income families are tapping on iPhones and tablets before age 2. What effect will this have on them as they grow? Here with more on this story is MarketWatch's Quentin Fottrell. Quentin, great to see you.
Too.
So we know for a while that kids have been getting younger and younger on the iPad and the iPhone, despite the recommendations of the American Academy of Pediatrics, correct?
Right. They don't like kids younger than 2 using these devices in such high numbers.
But it looks now like that's just the reality, that most kids are using these devices, correct?
Right. So the number of kids at like 4 and 2 using these devices has, according to some studies, doubled in the last 5 years across all families, not just low-income families. But it's interesting that low-income families also have the access to these, to be able to purchase these devices, and are also using them in similar ways to other parents. Maybe when they're doing chores, they give their child a tablet or a phone to play with.
Yes, it's sort of instant babysitting. It's a moment of quiet when you need to get something done. And there has been a little bit of a backlash to this, correct?
Yes. Well, there's a lot of studies out there that have shown that it's important for children to learn social skills, to be able to develop empathy and face reading skills.
Yes.
There was a study done in a summer camp, and children were more able to see what kind of emotions people had when they had gone without their smartphones for a prolonged period of time.
So is this an elastic skill? If we lose it by being on our devices for too long, will we get it back if we take them away?
Well, you know, yes and no. I think with tablets, children will lose some skills if they're using them too much early on, and will gain other skills, perhaps like problem solving and other things, because there are a lot of great games out there and apps for children as well. But those early years are a very important time for habit forming and learning. Early learning stays with us our entire lives.
Absolutely.
So you would think that the kids who are socializing more and are having more face-to-face contact are developing those skills earlier and better.
Researchers are a little divided, though, on how awful it is, correct? I mean, some say, look, if you have an appropriate game or an appropriate amount of time on the iPad, it's not so bad, whereas others take a little bit of a harder line, correct?
Right, absolutely. So it is, like most of these things, it's about balance.
Yeah.
And there are times when it's important for children to learn how to access information, the right kind of information, and that's a good skill as well. We do it ourselves, so there's no reason why we should think that maybe, you know, our children learn by observing their parents more than anything else. So if we're being preoccupied on our phones instead of talking to people when we should be, then they're going to do the same thing.
And I guess the scariest thing is there's no long-term studies yet. All of this is so new, we don't really know.
New. So watch the space.
That's right. All right.
Watch the screen.
That's right. Quentin Fottrell, thank you so much for that.